Welcome, low ego action heroes and phoenixes. I'm Debbie Levitt from dcx, and welcome to today's show. It's Wednesday, so it's usually Ask Me Anything, but right now it's Ask Us Anything with Dr. Nick. Before we bring him on, just a reminder that you can ask your questions live in the chat and they'll show up on the screen. I forgot my backlight again. Or you can send them in to dcx.to/Q. Hello, Ana Lucia. dcx.to/Q, which will come in anonymously to my email, and we can paste it on the screen. So all questions are welcome. No questions are out of bounds. Ana Lucia says it's a holiday in Portugal. I did not know. All right, so let's bring in Mr. Dr. Nick. How are you?
Hello. Very good, thanks. How are you guys doing?
Okay, a little overheated. It's suddenly summer here, and I have to turn off the air conditioner and the fan and stuff so it doesn't sound bad on the microphone. So I'm already overheating.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we get that in a few days. Friday, Saturday, we're going from 15 degrees centigrade to 28 degrees centigrade.
Yeah,
Welcome
I think
to
we're already...
global climate change.
Yeah, we're already 30, so it's just going to get hotter from here. So it's Portugal Day in Portugal. Well, that's a good choice. That makes sense. So happy Portugal Day to everybody in Portugal. Yeah, so as always, if anybody has a discussion topic or a question, I didn't get any ahead of time. I find that as we move into summer, we get fewer questions as people say, do I watch Debbie and Dr. Nick or do I run out to the beach? And we lose out to warm evenings. But Dr. Nick, do you have a topic on your mind that you want to talk about?
I don't know. I guess the thing at the moment, I think rate of change is what's on my mind these days.
Because I like that. That's a good one.
It's an important factor that I'm no good at. I'm really bad at, because I'm really impatient. I want to go as fast as I can, and I want everybody to come with me at that speed, and I don't see why they can't, kind of thing. And it's wrong, and it's irrational, and it's not reasonable. But too much change too fast breaks things. Not enough change doesn't change things, for the better. And That's what I'm trying to work out in my head across different projects and thinking back across different experiences. What is the optimal push point? And that's the $1 million question. And I don't know if anybody knows it. And I think that takes experience and skill to kind of work out when. So yeah, that's just what's on my mind at the moment, because our world, across the board needs to change. It changes in the wrong way annually, almost.
Right.
And let's get spicy early, because I want to do this, right? There's a guy called Russell Ahmed on LinkedIn who's got a tremendous amount of followers already.
Is that the guy who claims he's going to teach you AI?
Sort of thing. I'm not quite sure what his pitch is. It's kind of AI and UX.
Yeah, it's so weird. I think I saw one of his posts, and he was telling you he was going to teach you Claude, and then used incorrect names for Claude features. And I was like, how does he have that many followers? He must have bought them.
I don't understand. Each post gets 500-600 or more posts, right? I understand when people who I don't agree with, but I can completely understand their perspective, if you know what I mean, are like, I understand engagement. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's a good thing. But engagement with things that are obviously wrong, which aren't obviously wrong to the masses, is a massive problem. And the reason why I say that is because people like you and me and lots of our cohort or peers have fought long, hard battles for many years on LinkedIn and in the organizations we're in to try to move that needle. It's being moved backwards, like further than we've ever pushed it forwards, because of these new influences. And it's really, really annoying. It's frustrating. It's making all of my work and yours go to complete waste. And it's a genuine problem. Okay, we don't need to go down the rabbit hole of LinkedIn is a bit crap, because it's very crap, right? And
you're being generous there.
Yeah, I am. It's just one great big popularity contest from the minute I land, from some like, what would you name my cat? This kind of garbage, right? Like, it's really that bad. Sorry, I'm not being rude about cats. It's, just something really irrelevant.
Right. Put that on Facebook.
Exactly. Put that on Facebook. But what we should be doing is having discussions, arguments about the subject matter, about work, either practices or the work of work. I don't really care. But Russell Ahmed and people like him are in it for the popularity contest in the field that we are in, without having any of the experience or knowledge. And that's where I draw the line. That's where I fight. That's where I call people out by name. That's not okay.
Yeah, I had those fights a few years ago with some product management influencers who had a zillion followers and suddenly decided they were UX experts. One of them released a course on how to wireframe in 2024. And I was like, wireframe? Like, is anyone still doing that? Like, we're all making prototypes. People are starting to vibe code things. Like, it was the strangest thing. And he just kept acting like, and another guy started like tagging me in his posts, like, Debbie Levitt's Customers Know You Suck book agrees with me about this. And I would write back under it, no, I don't. Like, you're saying the opposite of what my book says. And then he blocked me. And I was like, well, what was any of this? And so I think that obviously once you're using a word like influencer, we're talking about a person with certain motivations, goals. I think you and I are educators. I think you and I are critical thinkers who try to inspire others to think critically. And we're not out there for the likes and it's very different. And we're not trying to gain sponsors by having big followings, and some of these people are.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're powerless to stop it. What we're going to see over the next couple of years is a lot more redundancy.
Hold on, Thomas Wilson. Hey, he's on live on LinkedIn. Good morning, Thomas. He said, I would greatly appreciate cat naming over 90% of the feed. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, I can certainly feel you there. And Thomas linked to one of his own posts, which if you're not on LinkedIn, it'll be hard to follow that and type that into your browser. But, follow Thomas Wilson on LinkedIn. But I think he's got a point there that name this cat would probably be a welcome relief over a lot of what is in my LinkedIn feed.
I know. It's terrible. Look, unfortunately, like what's it they used to say? Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Or,
Sure.
Journalists used to say that, right? Back in the day. And we're really right back there, but not just in journalism, like any form of publication or communication. It's for people like, I guess, me, or anyone with a critical mind, in fact, it's bizarre to need to see the truth as much as possible and see the exact opposite in layers. It's bugging me.
I don't know if
badly.
you see what I'm putting. I'm going to respond. Thomas Wilson put sponsored by Satan. So I'm going to put up not sponsored as a joke. Ana Lucia said, I would prefer cat naming to AI doomsday, or if you don't learn AI, you're done kind of posts. Thomas Wilson says, go read the post he linked to because he's pooping on influencers. And so I don't know if I've seen that post. I think like many people, I'm just spending less and less time on LinkedIn because it's not a positive experience. And I have enough self-control to say, okay, I looked at 10 or 20 posts. They all kind of suck. I'm going to go do something else.
Yeah, no, I can't find a better battleground. I still keep thinking about doing YouTube, but again, I don't know if I have the time and effort. Any spare time I have that I'm not vibe coding for either personally or for work, I'm spending on the book. In fact, most of my out of hours work is all book right now, and so I don't have the time for this stuff. I really don't. Maybe after the book, but we've got to find a better battlefront, right? LinkedIn is not it. It used to be.
I agree.
It was a good place of meeting of minds, both experienced and inexperienced. But now it's just a cesspit of marketing. The people that win on LinkedIn are the marketeers, and that's unfortunately a problem.
Yeah, I certainly agree. YouTube, the downside to YouTube, as I can tell you as someone streaming here for 7 years, is that I think a lot of people go to YouTube more for, and it's not 100%, but in general more for entertainment, escapism. So the idea of going to YouTube to watch something about work I think for most people, not all, but for most people, it's going to be like, oh, come on, get work out of my head. I want to watch something different. For example, yesterday, so on Tuesday, I'm doing 2 streams back to back now. I do my Take Action Tuesday at 10:30 at night, my time, which is some focused topic from the Delta CX Hive. And then at midnight, my time, I stream still to LinkedIn, but then to completely different YouTube and Twitch channels that are called Vocal Coach Debbie, and I talk about music, or I teach something about singing. And yet, as of roughly now, my work-related stream on LinkedIn has 300 to 400 views, and my music stream on LinkedIn has over 600 views. I think people would rather watch something that's fun, interesting, entertaining, a break from work, a break from fighting about AI, I'm still experimenting with different things in different places, but I don't even know.
You know what my neuro high-level macro brain is telling me right now? If we look at that with my psychology hat on, basically, that's a lot of pain you're seeing. Those are all pain responses, right? The world is in pain. People are suffering, or they're not happy, they're anxious, or, money is a problem, wars are being fought, prejudices, all kinds of bad, terrible political nightmares and tactical strategic hell. It's not a good world right now, right? And so I think when people go on LinkedIn, they want to see name my cat stuff, because it doesn't bring the reality of,
it doesn't hurt.
Shit, if I lose this job, I'm screwed, and I hate my job, but I can't leave it because there's nobody's hiring. That stuff, right? Or you go on LinkedIn, I don't want to see UX and product stuff. I want to see cat videos and Debbie singing, because that's way more nicer than any reality around me. So it's almost like we're living in an escapist world right now.
And I understand that. And you know enough about psychology, and I know a fraction of what you know, and that makes sense. And so I'm going into my music streams not because I think they're going to be a source of income, but I think they're going to be fun for me, and I think they're going to be interesting and fun for other people. And if they want to hear me talk about work, they can watch this show. And if they want to hear me sing or talk about music, they can watch my other show, and they can watch both or neither. But I think, to me, as long as the escapism is healthy, there are certainly unhealthy escapist choices that make me concerned about people or societies. But, I always hope that my karaoke streams are a welcome break from people's shitty days.
Oh, no, definitely. I think that's the problem, though. The work-life balance is becoming a bit more nuanced, shall we say. So that balance to shitty days kind of stuff is more relates to the work-life balance. It's just like the work bit. I don't know. It's really, really messy right now. I don't know what the way forward is. The way I look at it is this, and the way I've always managed my own anxiety is to run at problems generally head on. Right?
Sames.
And that's not saying I'm not a wicked procrastinator. So I'm a complicated individual, right? But usually the best way for me to deal with anxiety is to kind of work harder, run at it kind of thing, right? Avoidance, like head in the sand stuff, is never, it happens because I'm lazy and kind of procrastinator, but it's not, that's a different side, if you know what I mean. It's more like I want to solve these problems because it makes them go away quicker, sort of thing, right? Rather than to leave them to linger. And it's almost maybe the younger generations, or I don't know, or the world right now needs to understand that running from your fears doesn't really solve them, right? And that some of this stuff. And okay, here's another good topic for the day.
Well, hold on. I just want to read some of the comments before we shift to a new topic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want.
This is related. This is related though. The word is fundamental. I'll come back to that in a second then. Go on.
Okay, don't forget the word is fundamental. Write it down. Ana Lucia said, even yesterday or so, I was telling one of my friends that LinkedIn had so much potential. Why don't they send you the job postings that you'd be a great fit for? Why do you have to do that work for them? Why do we have to play the game? Yeah, LinkedIn has a lot of potential, and yet they spend most of their time hoping you will play some sort of sneaky, wordy game. Thomas wrote, LinkedIn promotes and encourages and even gears algorithms towards these people and their postings. They took LinkedIn to the TikTok, Instagram place, and it sucks. We agree. All right, just wanted to make sure our live viewers felt seen and heard. Nick, next topic, I'm ready to write it down.
Fundamental, but before we do that, very quickly, engagement is now, it's come from marketing. Engagement is the new KPI. It doesn't matter whether it's good engagement or bad engagement. It's like marketing and PR stunts. Doesn't matter. I got your attention. You're going to remember this. It's almost like that. It doesn't matter whether there's any quality or substance or validity to it. Anyway, moving right along.
Well, we have another comment quickly. Amy's live on YouTube. Amy says, action squashes anxiety is what I try to remember.
Yeah. You know what? If I'm anything, I'm not particularly bright or anything. I'm just really anxious, and I turn that anxiety into action. That's the bottom line. And in so doing, you make lots of mistakes. You learn from all those mistakes. You become really good. That's my story in a nutshell. That's really how it goes. And that's what you get 15 years later, basically, right? Fundamentals. Let's talk about fundamentals, because that pain and that anxiety and all the self-defensive reactions and all the bullshit that we see in the world today, in the professional sphere that we're in, I'm convinced it's because Thomas, myself, yourself, our peers have all had a foundational form of training in the form of mentorship on the job for many years. We understand the basic principles of user centricity and building the right thing of product development before it was called product development, right? That's the thing. Now, everybody else doesn't. And they've learned from LinkedIn and Medium and all the YouTube, very bad sources of information. And they know that they don't know. They are unconsciously incompetent in many cases. Now that creates tons of anxiety. You don't have the fundamentals. When you don't have the fundamentals, you're in a template mentality. You're like a script kiddie or something, right? You can't do it yourself. You can only hack other people's stuff. And that's an awful place to be. And I think that's where we are today. And so you can't get better or grow or even have a growth mindset if you haven't got the fundamentals in place. And the kicker, no one apart from a very few people these days know those principles. And actually, double kicker, Jakob is checked out entirily.
Oh, so, well, F him. I'm done with him.
I know.
You're still carrying a torch a bit, and I understand that. I've taken the torch and I've set him and all of his pedestals on fire, but you get to carry that torch. We all have our idols, who are the people who we admire. I think at this point, nearly all of mine are musicians.
No. I dig all of that. And that's fair. And also, having read and interacted with lots of people on that call out post that I put, the call out post, I just didn't see it. And like I said last time, I totally support you. And also, he's continuing to turn out shit after that stuff. So I'm like, I'm not really on his side either anymore. It's like, look, bro, I was as nice as I humanly could to you in public, and you just doubled down. Are you mad? But hey, okay.
Right. Oh, I get it. And good to see Lade here. Lade says, the path always gets clearer as you move. I have found that to be true. Someone in my family used to say, just keep moving. Even if you're going in the wrong direction a little bit, just keep moving. You'll get there.
Well, it's like the fog of war in games, right? If you ever played a top-down game like, I don't know, Command and Conquer, that kind of stuff, right? God, I'm showing my age. The board you can't see what's on the board, the game board. And as you move around, it clears, right? And it stays clear because you've discovered that area. And that's exactly how the world kind of works. It's like kind of keep moving. And you explore more, you learn more, the world opens up and gets cleaner and more visible.
I just want to remind everybody, I know this looks like the Debbie and Dr. Nick talk show, but this is our every Wednesday Ask Us Anything. Dr. Nick appears once a month, usually the second Wednesday of each month. If you have a question, up there, it's dcx.to/Q. That'll come into my email. Hi, Lade. Or you can post in the chat, and as you can see, it shows up on the screen. You can post to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. I always hope everybody will follow Delta CX Hive on Twitch. The latency is much lower, but as long as you're following us and you're joining in live or watching the recordings later, I'm happy you're part of the community. Oh, and don't forget, dcx.to has links to everything in our community, books, articles, our free Discord, which has 750 people and is fairly active. And one of my favorite things about Discord is it's anonymous. I don't even know who some of you are. And we find that people are a lot more honest and open and talking about some of the difficulties in work and sometimes just in life, because we have no idea who they are or where they work or where they live. And I think there's something nice about the anonymity.
Yeah, that just made me remember when YouTube, it wasn't that long ago, probably 10 years ago, YouTube's comment section wasn't logged in. Like, you could just comment as anybody you wanted, and it was literally the bottom of the internet.
Oh, that reminds me. So YouTube did something today where I was like, and shitification bells going off in my head. People watching live, tell me if you've seen this one yet. So I sent a link to a YouTube video to my neighbor in a WhatsApp chat, and somehow she clicked on that. And then all of a sudden I get a notification from YouTube saying, you're now connected with Erica and you can start a private chat with her in the YouTube app. So now YouTube is trying to be Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal. It was, Ana Lucia says, I sent you an article through a DM if you want to discuss it. Okay, I'll take a look at that. But anyway, has anybody seen that yet? Where it was acting like, hey, you can now message with Erica on YouTube, and I'm thinking, did not want or need. Please no.
But think behind that. What's the financial incentive? What's the marketing bonus? I don't understand why they are doing that.
Time on site, time in app. I'm not even sure. I'm going to try to see if I can find it again because it was so freaking creepy. Here it is. Messages. So now if you go into the YouTube app and you press subscriptions, I'm going to scroll up so it doesn't show her name and you'll just see some of the things that I've been watching. So if I go to subscriptions, and sorry, it green screens out on my thing. But at the top of it, it says messages. And it says, you sent Erica, and it's got her YouTube username. You sent Erica a blah, blah, blah. And it looks like Instagram private messaging. It looks like WhatsApp. It's got a picture of a preview of the video and a link to the video. And it's acting like now I can message with her on YouTube, and I've seen that in a couple of other things. Lade says, I have seen that on YouTube. It was really odd. Ana Lucia says she hasn't seen it yet. It was a first time I've seen things before on YouTube that acted like, do you want to chat with somebody? And I'm thinking, absolutely not, especially since I'm on YouTube. So obviously I'm streaming as Delta CX Hive. I'm streaming as Vocal Coach Debbie, but I use YouTube as Horizons Debbie. That's my secret personal account, or not particularly secret now that I just said that, but though it's an incorrect spelling of Horizon, so go ahead, find me. But that's how I watch stuff and comment and anyway, weird. And Nick, you're right to ask that question. Like, what's the end game? Why bring chatting with people into YouTube? And does that mean as a creator, I'm going to have some sort of inbox and people are going to start sending me private messages? What does that mean for the creators I follow who have 2 million subscribers? They're going to get private messages now?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it's an engagement metric. If you get more people, if you can talk to your audience. I know the practicalities of that are insane. Especially, what do you do when you've got like 17 million followers
That's what
for
I'm
subscribers?
saying.
Yeah,
Do
yeah, yeah.
not
You
want.
can't.
I think I've
No.
turned it off for my streaming accounts, and I guess I didn't even think to turn it off for my I Watch Stuff account. But all of a sudden, I send a link to neighbor Erica, and I'm in a chat with her on YouTube, and I was just like, oh my God, do not want. So, yeah, heads up, people. Something ugly is afoot in YouTube. Once again, they seem to have no idea where they're headed or what they're doing. I'm convinced that product managers are just being given KPIs and they're just being told, make people do things, make people spend more time, make people log in more, and nobody even knows why they're building anything. That's just how I feel at this point.
And at this point, I mean, the that court case finding about the addiction stuff,
Yeah,
it hasn't changed anything.
right,
It's changed nothing. They just went, yeah, okay, pay the bill, carry on, and
right.
that's the way it goes. And it's just, I hate saying the word ethics because it makes me sound like a boring old fart,
No,
right? And
ethics.
it's really unsexy. But ethically, like we are ethically and morally bankrupt as an industry, completely. I mean, I'm seeing things on in the news all day, every day now of big companies being fined for really terrible behavior.
Right,
And they just don't stop. But they just see it as the cost of doing business.
right.
So yeah, it's bothering me because it doesn't matter which government you look at; they're all the same. They're all sitting back and watching, unless maybe a Scandinavian. But that's basically it. Because the
Yeah.
Scandis are cool and they get it right most times.
Hold on. Let me try to add you to my screen. Ana Lucia sent an article, and I just have to add Dr. Nick to the screen, or we're not going to see him. Give me a second. Oh, I made him a tiny box. Okay, you're a tiny box. Deal with it. Okay, here it comes. Okay. So, Robin says, have you come across YouTube Playables? Yes, I saw that also. YouTube is trying to make people play games inside the YouTube app. It's so bad. All right, let's get to the article that Ana Lucia sent, and she sent it on the Wayback Machine. And I will read it out loud, and if I can find the right window. Here we go. It's a New York Times article by Isabella Kwai. It's from a few days ago, and it says, is LinkedIn entering its post-cringe era? What do you mean, is it entering? Celebrities and paid influencers have transformed the career-focused platform, which for some users has become a job unto itself. And the article says, I guess we'll read some of it until we run out of patience with it. A few months ago, I opened my LinkedIn account to stalk an old colleague. What I saw surprised me. A video interview with Lisa Rinna, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star, giving career advice. A day in the life video of a man's morning commute, sponsored by a podcast company. A writer ranting about AI. A founder of a data platform raving about AI. A selfie from a stranger announcing that his father had died. Hi, Charlene. I put stalking to the side as a different thought arose. Was LinkedIn getting more interesting? And the answer is no. So then she's just got like the middle article stuff of like LinkedIn started in this year and did this and did that. Yeah, this is a lot of words, and I'm not sure what the point is, but it sounds like it's all of the cringe and LinkedIn lunatics, but brands are getting more involved by paying people for posts, and I've even received emails offering me money for posts, but usually it's like $10, which I think is hilarious.
And I don't know who. I mean, I can't guarantee reach. Neither can you.
No, not with everyone being shadow banned. I could write a post and 35,000 people see it, and I can write a post and 300 people see it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, Ana Lucia says the article, she's saying LinkedIn is cool now. That's what
No,
we
what
missed
she's
by
what
not having read the whole article.
I think what I'm taking away is that we've gone from like early cringe to kind of mature cringe, right? And the mature cringe, instead of early stage cringe, is like it said, where the brands have got involved. We've now got big tech marketing involved, or big industry marketing involved, and that's why it's trashing hard, because the algorithm loves them, right? More engagement, more time on platform, but it's shit content. It's garbage content.
Absolutely.
It's all
Yeah.
it's all propaganda or invalid crap.
I wonder what she was paid to say LinkedIn is cool now.
I don't even know.
I can't
But
imagine
if
that
link,
someone would show up to LinkedIn and genuinely have the opinion that this is a cool place and that this is a good place to spend time. Here's Shaunak commenting, is everything just doom and gloom? Social media and the news keeps promoting the world has gone backwards and everyone has gone crazy. What are your guys' thoughts?
honestly, I think a lot of this is going to sound awful. I can't really say that out loud and be recorded saying that. But let's just say P.T. Barnum was very right. Right? Do you know what I mean when I say that?
I do. I know the
He said
quote.
that, yeah, he said there's a sucker born every minute. And there's more suckers in today's world per square inch than there were when I was growing up. Or maybe I'm just aware of it. And I think that the shrewd money today is picking up that base. Right? The people who don't really think about purchases or what have you. And there's a lot of people being sold garbage, both ideas and products. And I don't know. Sorry, let me get back to it. Sorry, it's becoming a real. Sorry, what was it? Sorry, is everything just doom and gloom? Social media, social media, and the news keep promoting the world's gone backwards. Everyone's gone crazy. It's true. I mean, it is doom and gloom. Well, the media doesn't help, but the reality is not particularly brilliant. In the past world that we've all grown up in, there were learning structures, there were editorial structures. So you had people of experience leading people of inexperience. Now we've got people of inexperience leading anybody, and there's no consequence. It's terrible, and then the people being made redundant, and there's no attribution. There's no understanding of why this is happening. That we're not skilling up our young people with those fundamentals that I talked about earlier. They're going to die with our generation and be replaced by AI skills and tooling. And it's a disaster.
Yeah, and this is another reason why the topic comes up from time to time on our Discord community, but we're all trying to support each other in protecting our headspace. It was something I brought up in my Life After Tech book and something that comes up from time to time. You don't have to spend all day on LinkedIn. You don't have to spend all day on Reddit. You don't have to spend all day flipping through TikToks or YouTube shorts. This is kind of slot machine behavior where you're hoping that eventually something will feel good or be funny or you'll be glad you saw it. And usually after 10, 20, 30 or more minutes, you just feel not happy. You feel doom and gloom. You feel like this is a lot of crap. And I just want people to start catching themselves in those moments and to make more mindful decisions about how to spend your time, because so much of this, we walk away feeling badly, and you do have the power to say no. And if you have trouble saying no, get some help. I've got app timers on my phone. I can't use Blue Sky more than 10 minutes plus 10 minutes. I can't use Instagram more than 10 minutes plus 10 minutes. I don't even open it most days. I can't use LinkedIn more than 10 minutes plus 10 minutes. So I'm really trying to limit the places that I know are more likely to make me not feel great.
Yeah, I guess I understand that, but that can be a very isolating world, and social isolation leads to bad things, But similarly, social inclusion these days is also extraordinarily toxic and at risk. So it's a really it's a tricky situation. I totally get it.
I think you're right, and I think it's more about picking the platforms or communities or sub communities that make you feel better in some way, make you feel supported in some way. Like I spend most of my social time on Discord with my community and with a couple of other Discord communities that I'm a member of. I spend limited time on LinkedIn. I barely open other social media, and I feel better for it. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, but I also don't have a fear of missing out. I don't have an addictive personality, and so I can easily just say no.
Yeah, unfortunately, lots of people aren't like that, and without those foundations that I'm constantly talking about now, you can do all the scrolling or all the kind of FOMO investigation of YouTube and scrolling LinkedIn all day. Without the bones to put the meat on, you're just layering random stuff on. It's not structured learning, and it doesn't feel good or perform well. And it causes more confusion, more internal contradiction than anything. Now, the problem in today's world is that either people don't know where to go to get these fundamentals because they don't really exist in any format anywhere. And we can't really give them to you in a book because it's an experiential thing, as we've been saying, for our whole careers. And the learning styles of these folks are so different that even if it was there on a plate, they might not like it. It might not be in a format that appeals. It's not a 3-second TikTok thing, and this is really fundamentally the problem. And it's really scary to me because I don't see a way out of this. Usually I'm quite good at finding a solution.
I want to echo you on this as well, because I got and let me just read a couple of comments quickly. Robin said, I wish I could deactivate my LinkedIn, but it's become a standard way for people to verify professional credibility. Yeah, but we can also not hang out there. Shaunak says, yeah, everyone, I think even Gen Z says life decades ago was better. Charlene says, I open LinkedIn once a week, realize it's still the same shit, close the app and the tab. Yeah, I was going to agree with what you just said, and now I forgot my own story because I didn't write it down. Go ahead.
Can I jump in quickly then? Because this is, okay, let me relate it to music and bands, stuff that we all know and love, right? When your favorite band, which used to be a garage band that you saw in your local pub and all of that, right? Like I saw Fugazi in 91 in Gilman in Berkeley, right? When they were nobodies, right? They were literally in Chumbawamba and stuff, right? And then they go massive, huge mainstream. And then both the fans change, the music changes. They sell out a bit more because they've got to become more commercial because the label demands it and all that kind of stuff, right? So what started off as this cool underground, really excellent music turns out to be mainstream shit, right? Now, take UX, take product, take agile, take anything, and it goes mainstream. Take LinkedIn, it goes mainstream. The minute it crosses that mainstream line, it goes to shit. So I think what's happening on LinkedIn is it's attracting more engaged people of lesser quality, right? It's drawing in so that their metrics are going up and people like us are going down, but they don't care because it's net gain by a lot. And that, I think, is the truth here.
Yeah, I want to, I'm going to write down, I remembered what I wanted to say, but first I want to read a couple of comments that came in. KB is here. Hey, KB, good to see you again lately. Says, hi all, jumping in late here. I imagine the average LinkedIn user is a person that has network written in their calendar as part of some self-improvement goals, and then they spend 30 minutes looking at cat memes on LinkedIn. At first, the memes were a bit of comedic relief, but now the joke has ballooned to the entire site. Yeah. Ana Lucia says, as someone who started in this area very recently, one of my main issues was finding the right people saying real things, not juniors saying whatever BS they want to look like seniors or someone completely unrelated saying something about UX. It took me quite a while to find the people who are trustworthy and are not doing this for the likes. Yes, and the point I wanted to make, I remember now, goes back to, Nick, what you were saying before this about learning styles, and it just seems like people don't learn the same, and sometimes they don't even want to learn. And I wanted to mention that I recently got I guess you would call it like a short book review on Goodreads for my Life After Tech book. And that's the book where I'm trying to give people some career coaching and some introspection about other directions they might want to take their work or career, especially if tech and corporate isn't working out for them anymore. And first of all, the book read like the review read like someone had plugged my book into AI and asked AI to write the angriest thing it could, because there were things in the review that literally didn't make sense. Like she spends the second half of the book plugging her campground, and I was like, the campground doesn't exist. I mentioned twice that I hope to create it, but I can't be plugging it. It doesn't exist. And
That's
then
AI.
But then the other weird thing that the person wrote was that they were and I'm paraphrasing, was that they were kind of miffed that my book didn't give them more ideas on what careers they should go into. And it's like, well, that makes no sense. I can't say, well, if you're a 55-year-old guy with glasses and a goatee beard, you should become a pharmacist. Like, oh, if you're a UX researcher, you should become a dog walker. It doesn't make sense for me to try to, also, if I could even do that, I immediately change all the balances of everything, because all of a sudden people who read the book go, oh, Debbie said that if I'm a UX researcher, I should go into market research. It's like that doesn't work. There's no clear lines for anybody the way there used to be 10 years ago. So to me, I walked away feeling like, one, I think AI wrote that review, but two, it was so weird that this person expected me to just tell them what job they need to go take, as if I'm in their head, as if I know who they are and I can tell them what job they should have. It was just bizarre.
You know what? It's generation spoon feed, right? That's the problem. Now, if you were a less ethical, more unscrupulous Debbie, which we know you not to be,
Thank you.
I'm just stating that for the record. The edition 2 of the book would feature a big glossary that you would have AI generated of, if you were X, become Y, right? Because you're going to sell more books and you don't care, and validity is not checked, or you know what I mean?
Right.
That's the problem here, right? That's what the unscrupulous person does, and that's the equivalent on LinkedIn. Find the signal, not signal, but the responsive, the engagement signal, if you know what I mean, and then just maximize, turn it up and double down. That's what goes on.
I even had a section in the book where I used what at the time was Google's Career Dreamer, which was supposed to be an AI that took in information about the roles you've had and the skills you have, and would recommend different jobs to you. And I wrote in the book about how one of the key things Google's Career Dreamer, and I wrote the book 2 years ago, so it's AI 2 years ago, one of the things it recommended I become was, I think it was, I would have to open my own book, but I think it was water treatment supervisor.
Nice. That sounds like my career, the report that I got from my careers stuff in the 80s. It said, I think pharmacist was one of them. Another was like farmyard technician or something. Like,
right.
What the heck?
Yeah. And so I was like, that's so weird, because my dream is to sit at this desk and work remotely. And if I'm a water treatment supervisor, I've got to go put on actual clothes and go look at water. And, maybe I would be good at that. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but no, that didn't seem quite right for me. Just to read a couple of comments that came in, Charlene said, maybe if people like us start posting useful stuff on LinkedIn, we can bring back the LinkedIn we want. Except LinkedIn kills our posts in the algorithm because it is useful. Ana Lucia says, Debbie should go into law. I heard that a lot growing up because my family were mostly lawyers, but I've never thought that was something I wanted to do.
My wife was a lawyer, comes from
That's
a family
right.
of lawyers. And within about, I think, 3 or 4 years, maybe I'm doing her a disservice, but she realized that it was just lots of administration and just wasn't really for her. I get that.
I remember my among the lawyers in my family was my bio father, and I remember him one day looking miserable, and I said, what happened? And he said, I sent a judge a 50-page document or something, and this is a judge who gives you a page limit for documents you can send, and so I sent him a 50-page document in 12-point font, and he wrote back and he says, it must be 50 pages or fewer, but you must use 13-point font. And he just felt shattered, like all the work he had done meant nothing. The judge didn't even want to read it because of one font point, and now he was going to have to completely rewrite it to boost up the font but cut the pages. And he was like, that's what some days are like for me. Ana Lucia says, I know, I was messing around with you, but you would be a great advocate for whatever group you would want to defend. Well, thank you. I will always be some sort of advocate, but, you know, not working as a lawyer. Thanks, but no thanks. Nick, what's your dream job? If you could have any job right now, if you could decide it and you could describe it and you could, oh God, here, and it's legal. Please go with legal,
yeah.
so I don't get thrown off YouTube. Nick,
the one that came to mind was the one that I used to say when I was a 21-year-old, and that's the one that's not repeatable on screen. So let's not go there. The more family friendly version of that. No, way worse, a lot worse. Was when I was younger, I wanted to be a pinball designer. I thought that'd be the coolest job in the world, designing pinball.
My previous boyfriend is obsessed with pinball. He had 24 machines in the house we shared.
Yeah, I'm not like that level of thing, but there's something gorgeous about pinball. There's just this about the classic 70s Bally Midway.
Yep, he had all the 70s and 80s games, and I knew all of them. And
I've spent many hours, like when I was in Las Vegas 2 years ago for work for Atlassian's Teams 24. One of my first stops was I went down the far end of the strip. There's a pinball museum, and I went outside, had a massive naughty smoke, which I got from a local dispensary, and spent the best 3 hours of my life, like a kid in a candy shop, happy as heck, with my headphones in, nudging and tilting and loving life. It was amazing.
If you're ever headed to San Francisco, let me know and I will connect you and my previous boyfriend, who's a super guy, and I think still has like 17 machines in the house where we used to live, where he's living with his new and improved girlfriend. So you will have to get together with him and talk 70s and 80s pinball.
Let's just say new or different.
Anyway, yes, she's definitely an upgrade. But I also upgraded, so, you know.
Oh, no, it's all fair. It's all fair. It all turned out nicely for everybody.
Exactly. Totally worked out.
In today's world, like, I've asked myself that a lot in recent years, because it's like, you know, I'm looking towards retirement. I'm looking, you know, at the back end of my career. Like, I'd like to do something that I really, really enjoy now, right? And so what would that be? Right, because I can't get the enjoyment. I genuinely used to love my job, right? My job of UX. I genuinely loved it, and that's why I'm kind of in mourning for kind of UX in my career. Not because of the way but because I enjoyed getting up and going to work and doing my job and doing the accessibility work and doing all these great things that made people's lives better, made me feel good. I can't do that anymore. And so it's like, well, what would I do that would give me the same level of satisfaction? And I honestly, I don't know. And even when I come up with something that might be a possibility, AI is probably threatening it. So
yeah, good point.
I'm kind of unsure, you know? Oh, and just one other thing, back to that point about critique of your book. Even if you had some kind of prescient vision of everybody's careers, the way that jobs and job roles and the way of working is going to change over the next 10 years. It means that your book, whatever you wrote, would have changed within a few minutes, or you know, months or whatever.
I was trying to write the book that didn't immediately become outdated. Instead, the book focuses on introspection and empowering you to make your own decisions and helping you brainstorm to see possibilities, but doesn't tell you what to think.
No, totally. But that's what people want now. They want to know what to think. You know, and now that if they can't, they'll offload it to the AI. And I've got to tell you, man, I know this is a really unpopular thing, but Fable just screwed me over at a humongous cost, right? Everybody's holding out the like Opus and Fable are brilliant, but these things trip as hard as anything previously has. And it's really bugging me because it's just costing me an absolute fortune now. Or if I do it on my work API, I'm probably going to get a call from somebody, right? It's not okay. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just a bit.
No, I'm with you. I tried Fable, but again, I'm trying it I'm just chatting with it. I'm just trying to get a sense of, since I chat with Sonnet a lot and I chat with Opus a little bit, I've just been chatting with Fable just to get a sense of what does it do differently. And I threw a couple of things at it. And but I've got Max right now because I was teaching my course about 2 weeks ago, so I always buy Max for the month when I teach my course, so I don't run out of Claude while I'm trying to teach people my Claude skill, which everyone can get at dcx.to. But I just chatted with Fable a bit today, and just from chatting, it told me that for my 5-hour usage window, I had burned 20% of it in about 5 or 7 minutes. And that was just chatting. That wasn't even coding or asking it to create artifacts or asking it to visualize something. And so I'm still very happy with Sonnet, and I don't like Opus, and I think Fable is interesting, but for what I tend to do, all of this is just overkill.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The problem is I think there's probably a name to this. Everybody would rather overdo than underdo.
I've been using, not only that, now that they've introduced low effort, medium effort, high effort, and max effort, I'm doing everything in Sonnet on low effort.
Yeah.
And it's going great.
Actually, you'll find, or I've found, that for previous tasks, Haiku, for a lot of coding tasks and stuff, it's actually, they kind of sell it as, yeah, it's great for basic, cheap, small tasks without much thinking. But that's BS. I think it's a lot more pokey than you think. You know what I'm saying?
I've only had bad experiences with Haiku, so I found it to be unusable. But I think it's worth it for everybody to experiment. I'm not going to say don't use Haiku. I'm going to say I avoid it like the plague, but everybody should give it a try and see if it works for them.
For the record, I wasn't using it for analysis. This is purely in Claude code. So I'm literally just writing lines of code with it, and the code runs, and it passes a code review, all of that good stuff. So for that reason, I'm saying that, not do cheap user research transcript analysis, because that might not be good. Probably isn't.
Yeah, Charlene said she saw a price difference on Claude, that for Claude Pro, there was a price difference between what she saw on the website and what she saw on the app. But I wonder if that's because one was showing her monthly and one was showing her the discounted annual price. Robin says, I agree, for coding, Haiku is good. I've been doing code in Sonnet Chat, and that's been going pretty well. But yeah, if Haiku works, that would be great. I just keep ending up in really bad fights with Haiku, and my skill does not go well in Haiku. So that's where I am with that.
I asked Fable to take my 16 chapter book and not to touch any of the wording. So don't touch any of the content. I only want you to format this thing nicely in Google Docs. Okay. Right? Because it's pretty messy right now, and my headings aren't all the right levels and all of that stuff. And it's a lot of work. It's hundreds of pages there. So I just said, look, can you do this? And it said, Jesus, it's a big job in this context. So I'm going to write a Python script to do it chapter by chapter. And it did it. And I'm thinking, this is great. And it took a few hours to do, and it did it. And I start to read through it, and it made some kind of comment about the conclusions being in the introduction. And I challenged it, and it was like, in fact, I'll scroll up and tell you. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? That was a reasonably simple task, quite a large task. You've done it kind of asynchronously rather than flooding context. And you effed up something really simple. So again, could be user error. I
didn't think it could mess with Google Docs unless you're using Claude in the browser or Claude Cowork.
I'm using Claude Code for this.
Claude Code?
Or Claude Code with Google API connectors set up. for
Weird.
Google Drive,
Oh, for
which is
Google
really the best
Drive.
way to work. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I
I've been
didn't make
doing
that connector.
one of the things that I would suggest people try doing, and I've been doing this for the longest time now, for a couple of years. Use the code machines, the coding apps, Codex, Claude Code, Cursor. Use them as a research laboratory, not as a code generation studio. The reason why I say that is because everything is markdown in, markdown out kind of thing. Now that means it's very easy for you to put your transcripts in a folder and say this is the stuff to go in, and you're an out folder, and you've got a brain in between. I really like it. The only thing that I like more than it is Notebook LM, right? But together they are a very powerful combination for any researcher. That's my research lab is a code environment, not something else.
That's interesting. Mine is a Claude project where I can put all of the files into the project, and then I run my skill, and the skill lives in chat, and the skill works with the transcripts and generates 3 markdown files. And so I'm doing everything in a project in chat with Sonnet on low.
Cool. If it works, it works. You know, this
Right.
is what I like. This is what works for me.
Exactly.
I've got 3 minutes left, and I do have to run because unfortunately, it is my anniversary today, and I'm taking my wife
Happy
out for a
anniversary to
gorgeous
you and
Moroccan
Deb.
dinner locally. But I do want to mention because something my memory is coming back to me these days, which is a good thing. You mentioned wireframing. I just want to quickly just riff on that because it reminded me. I built a Nick Fine wireframing skill in Claude a couple of days ago, because I am wireframing, and I'm okay to say that out loud. You know, I've grown up wireframing; it's what I know, and I'm not doing it with Axure anymore.
Right.
But I'm still wireframing because all the benefits of wireframing are still there. Like nothing changed. Wireframing as a concept, the work that it does is still remarkably powerful. Now, in today's world of tokens and cost, you don't need to spend money on fidelity, right? The benefit of wireframing, and this is huge for you guys, at least this is a Dr. Nick nugget, I hope. Wireframe in HTML. That's what I do. Low fidelity HTML wireframing. It's magical and it's ridiculously powerful. Like ridiculously powerful. Like I've done stuff in a single file app that I just didn't even know was possible. Right? It's insane what you can do. Do that. All that my wireframing skill does is effectively ensure that the fidelity stays where it should be and applies kind of a Nick Fine lo-fi design system to it. That's it. So that they look like mine because I want them to, right? But that's it. Wireframing's cool, kids. Get down with it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm still doing prototyping, and again, I'm doing that in Claude Sonnet chat on low effort. So, but either way, do it. Nick, we've got 2 minutes left, and you have your own anniversary to go to. Any final words for today before we see you next month?
No, just stay safe out there, guys. You know, careful what you consume. Stay vigilant. Stay cognizant. You know, what's critical.
Yep.
And yeah, don't sweat the small stuff. Like, it's a crazy world. It's not you. It's the world. And with that, I'll see you next month.
Excellent. Well, thanks everybody for coming. I'll be broadcasting again on Tuesday for Take Action Tuesday, and of course next Wednesday as well. Thanks again to Dr. Nick, and see everybody soon. Bye.